Okay, Jeremy Miner, we are going live right now here in the Facebook group. I am actually traveling. Let's go live here in the Facebook group. We're also going to live here on the IG phone. Let's let our IG peeps run in here as well, see what we've got. Okay, so today we're going to go live. We're going to go live on 6 different platforms. So we're going to go live here on StreamYard, our StreamYard channel. So we're going live here on our Facebook group, Sales Revolution. There's almost 65,000 of you running around in there. That thing's growing crazy. We're going live on our YouTube channel, LinkedIn, also our Facebook business page. There's like 90-some thousand of you in there. Also my personal Facebook. So on my desktop, where I'm traveling right now, we're going to go live here on StreamYard. We're also going live here on Instagram. We've got the Instagram phone here. Now, what's up, Sam Taylor? Hi, Jared. So I'm traveling this week and next week. I'm on a mini vacation here at my lake house in Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, but I'm still going live for you guys. Instead of working 10 hours or 12 hours a day, I'm only working 6 or 7. It's like a small vacation, a little break. So we're going to go live today and next week from the lake house. I'm going live from the kitchen area, actually. It's crazy. I don't have an office here in this house. Okay. Now, today we're going to talk about something very, very important. We're going to focus on how do you find out, like when you're in your sales process, especially if you sell B2B. Okay, and I'm going to show you some examples of B2C as well, business to consumer. But essentially, if you sell business to business, how do you find out who the real decision makers and influencers are in a company who are either going to say yes to what you're offering or going to influence or convince the real decision maker to say no? So I'm going to show you 5 simple questions you can ask in your sales process that's going to help you determine who those real decision makers are and how that organization makes decisions. What does their decision-making process look like? And I'm not saying, besides you, who are the other decision makers? Because most are going to shut down and they're not going to tell you because they know what you're doing. That's a question that every salesperson that's ever sold B2B asks all the time. So I'm going to show you several different examples of how to navigate into any organization or company if you sell B2B. And I'm also going to show you those tweaks if you sell B2C, because there are some differences there. All right. Now, if you are brand new to the Facebook group, or you just started following me on Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn or the Facebook business page, my name is Jeremy Miner. I'm the founder of Seventh Level. Seventh Level is a sales training organization that trains salespeople exactly like you watching me here right now. Okay, so we train salespeople like you. We train sales professionals like you. We train sales executives like you, sales leadership, management, coaches, consultants, general contractors, entrepreneurs, business owners, and we train you and your teams specific skilled questions and techniques that work with human behavior rather than work against it. But what do I mean when I say that work with human behavior rather than work against it? Once you understand what I'm talking about, it's a massive difference in the commissions you'll make in your industry. Okay, that's called NEPQ, Neuro Emotional Persuasion Questioning. Now, not only do we have to teach you the right questions to ask for your industry, but we also have to teach you the right tone, because your tone is how your prospects interpret the meaning behind every question you ask. Let me repeat that. Your tone is how your prospects interpret the meaning behind every single question you're asking. So there's certain questions in your sales process that require more of a curious tone. John, I'm not understanding. When you said blank, how did you mean by that? That's a curious tone. There's other questions in your sales process where you have to learn how to ask in more of a skeptical or challenging tone. What are the consequences if you don't do anything about this, though? See, that's a skeptical, that's challenging tone. And there's other questions in your sales process that require more of a concerned tone, a tone that shows more empathy. John, what's really holding you back from moving forward? See, that's a concerned tone. So are you 100% sure you're asking the right questions? Are you 100% sure you know how to use your tone to trigger your prospects to want to open up and go below the surface? Because if you're not, that means you're losing deals every single week that our clients who are in the same exact industry as you, they're making those every single day, like clockwork. Now, you want to start acquiring the skills, because we just, I give you basic hors d'oeuvres here on these lives. Okay. I want you to imagine a puzzle that's like 112,538 pieces. And these lives that I do for you guys, or if you follow me on and see reels, I'm giving you like 3 of those pieces. And there's like 110,509 more. You don't have all the pieces. You're just losing deals that you could be making. Okay. So you want to start making, if you want to start making, let's say your first 10 grand a month in commissions with what you're doing now, or if you want to start making your first 15 or 20,000 every single month in your industry, or if you want to start making your first 25 or your first 30 grand every month in what you sell now, or 40,000 a month or 50,000 a month in commissions with what you sell. Because I can assure you, we are training clients in your industry that make that every single month like clockwork, like it's easy. You want to start making that type of money in your industry, message me directly right now. If you're on LinkedIn or IG here, or the Facebook group, or Sales Revolution Facebook group, or if you're in, let's say, if you're in the Facebook business page, you want to start making that, message me directly right now. Either myself or one of my stunt doubles will message you back different options we have for your industry if you want to make that type of money. Okay. All right. Now, if you're on the live right here, go grab your phone. David OJ, do you have a sales course? No, we have 26 different sales training courses, David. 26. We're a large company. Selling Power Magazine, which is the largest distributorship for sales training companies in the world, ranked us in the top 10 largest sales training company in the United States of America. So, David, if we only had one sales training course, we would be puny. We have like 26 different versions. All right. Just message me directly, brother. Message me directly. Okay. Yes, train tons of people in roofs, life insurance, every industry on here. We train you. We train 158 different industries. Guess how many industries Forbes magazine says are in the world? 158. And there's subsets of those, and we're on all of those. Okay. If I ask, your prices are too high, compared to what? I mean, which is more expensive for you, Thor Smash? Is it more expensive for you to find the funds, get into our advanced training courses, and you quadruple your income? Or is it more expensive for you to keep selling the same way you are now, nothing ever changes, and your income stays the same? In reality, which is more expensive? There you go. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, now if you're on the live right now, I'm always sarcastic. If you want to go, if you're on the live right now, go post #live. Why should I buy from you? Well, you don't have to. It has no impact on us if you don't get into our advanced sales training courses. We already have those skills. Thor has no impact on us. Our clients already has them, and they're in your industry. If you don't learn them, it only impacts who? It would only impact you, because your income stays the same. Anyways, I digress. Let's move on. Okay, so if you're on the live right now, go post #live. And if you're on the replay, I'm going to have you go post #replay. So if you're on the live, go post #live. I better see hundreds of Smash lives, and I better see hundreds of Smash replay. And I want you to smash the heart button. Somebody says they smell crack. You're the best. I love you. All right, so smash the heart button, smash the like button. I better see hundreds of smashed hearts and hundreds of smashed lives for me to give you that training. All right, now if you're on StreamYard, because I don't have my Vibe board behind me like I do in the office in Scottsdale, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. IG, you're just going to have to listen to me because I don't have a Vibe board here in this lake house that I'm traveling at. Okay, so if you're on the, okay, I'm going to share my screen here. If you're on StreamYard, if you're in the Facebook group, and I'm going to share something here with you guys. Okay. No, stop sharing. You don't want to see that. Okay. I got to share it with you guys on here. What am I doing here? What am I doing? All right. All right. So I'm going to share this with you guys if you're on StreamYard. Okay. Share screen. Yes. Share screen. Can I do it? Window. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm going to figure this out. Boom. Okay. All right. Hopefully, let's see. Okay. There you guys go. Okay. You guys see that? Okay. So I'm gonna give you these different questions. If you're in the Facebook group, you're gonna be able to see these on StreamYard because I made a document for you guys. Like I said, if you're on the IG phone here, I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't have my Viboard here to write this down for you guys. You're just gonna have to kind of watch or kind of write down what I say here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 questions that are going to help you guys navigate and determine who the real decision makers are in a company or organization you're selling. I'm also going to show you not only how this works in B2B sales, business to business, but also if you sell business to consumer as well. Okay. Now, if you've ever been in B2B sales, you should know this. If you don't know this, okay, Forbes magazine just came out with a study on this probably about a year ago. In the average size company, so I'm not even talking about enterprise level companies like Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000 or anything like that. I'm talking about like SMB. In the average size company, there are 6.7 decision makers and or influencers who are going to influence the buying decision in that company you're trying to sell to. Now, if you're in tiny companies, like if you walk in and you're selling merchant processing to a local laundromat, that might be different. They might just have 1 or 2 owners and that's it. But on average, most companies have 6+ decision makers and or maybe they only have 3 decision makers, but they've got 2 or 3 employees that really influence what vendors or companies to use for their services. Okay. So you have to learn how to not only get the decision makers involved, but also the ones who influence the decision makers involved. And let me give you an example of what I mean by this. Okay, you might even be talking to like the CEO of the company, the CFO, the COO, whatever, the CSO, and they might, or the department head, they might love your solution. They believe it's going to solve all their problems and get them everything they've ever wanted in the world. But you have to realize there might be others in that company that might feel threatened by your solution. Or even employees who cannot make the decision, but they can influence the decision makers to not buy because they feel threatened. Okay. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say that you have some magical unicorn software that is going to help this company solve all of their problems and take them to $5 billion a year in revenue. I'm just making something up. But let's say on their end, they have to install it. They have to then train their people how to operate it. And let's say that you got everyone on board, the CEO, everybody, the department head, but then the chief technology officer who can't make the decision, they have no buying power, or the head of the IT department, they come in and they feel threatened by this new magical software. They feel that they might even lose their job because of it, or it might make them look bad to their CEO. Or they might feel like it's going to be too hard to operate, take too long, be impossible to train people. Or maybe they feel like they don't have enough time to train their people how to use it. And then they go to the CEO and they convince them that it's not such a good idea after all, that they can make some internal changes and not have to use your software. And then boom, the deal's over. Even though you had all the decision makers on board, that influencer who couldn't decide influenced the decision makers not to go ahead with it. Do you know how many deals get killed because of things like this? Because you haven't learned yet how to navigate in a company or organization to get all the decision makers and the influencers on board. So like I said, I'm going to give you 5 or 6 different decision-making questions. We call these NEPQ decision-making questions. Now, if you're in our advanced NEPQ 3.0 program or advanced inner circle, you're going to have all of these times 10,000. We teach you the right tonality. When, if they say this, you're going to ask this. If they ask this question, when you say that, we teach you everything. This is just very basic that I'm showing you right here. Okay. Zeri disagrees. Well, Zeri, sorry. I made almost $4 million a year in commissions in that industry. I possibly, maybe, potentially know what I'm talking about since I was a W-2 salesperson making that much money every year in commissions. I maybe know how to get decision makers and influencers on board, just going out on a limb, possibly, unless they gave me all the good leads. Maybe they gave me all the good leads. They gave everybody else the bad leads. I just got lucky. I don't know. What am I going to do? Okay. Now here's the first one. John, can you walk me through the criteria you guys use when picking a company to solve these type of issues? Sally, can you walk me through the criteria that all of you guys use when you're looking at a company to solve these type of issues? Now, this is purposely generic, the question I just gave you. You have to plug in what the actual issue or problem is. Otherwise, it's just going to sound too vague if you just say issues. So I'm giving you generic questions right here that you have to make industry specific. Now, we teach you how to make these industry specific in our virtual training courses as a client, but right here we train every industry. So I can't just give you, 158 different examples of the same question. All right. Now, this question also helps you understand the company's decision-making process so you're prepared to bring those other decision makers into the fold. And it also helps you see if cost, here's another thing, if cost is more important to this company than getting the end result, which will set up other questions that you'll have to ask to get them into results-based thinking over price or cost-based thinking. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to give you another question here. Make sure you write this down. And then if you're on StreamYard here in the Facebook group, you can see these questions. All right. So make sure you write those down. Now, if you're on IG and you're wanting to see the visuals, just join our Facebook group, salesrevolution.pro. You'll have to jump in there. Okay. Here's another one. Now you had actually, no, here's one I'm going to show you. I didn't bring this up here, but I want to show you this one. Actually, let me see. I'm on the wrong one for you guys. Okay, here's one that I want you to use. Okay, can you walk me through your company's decision-making process when it comes to solving these type of problems? Now, pay attention to my tone here. Sally, can you maybe walk us through your organization's decision-making process when it comes to solving problems like this? Can you walk me through is an NAPQ lead-in phrase. Can you walk me through your company's decision-making process when it comes to solving problems like this? Now, you can't ask that question in the first 2 minutes of the conversation because you have zero trust or credibility. This is more towards the end of that discovery conversation that you've had with them, where they're open and engaged. You obviously, this question wouldn't work in the first 2 minutes, wouldn't make any sense, okay? All right, let me give you some more examples here, and I'm going to explain each one of these here that I show on my sheet here on StreamYard. Now, John, you had told me that the company had budgeted XYZ dollars to fix this problem. Now, you're going to repeat the problem. You're not going to say problem. That's just generic. You had told me that your company had budgeted $270,000 to fix this. Can I ask how that budget was determined? See what I just did there? You had told me that the company had budgeted $340,000 to solve XYZ. Can I ask how that budget was determined? Well, the way we determine the budget is first, we have then they're going to give you more of an overall view of the company's decision-making process, how budgets are determined. See how you're from the side angle, finding out these details without coming out and saying, hey, how did you guys come up with this budget? Because it's too direct. People aren't going to open up to that. But the question helps you uncover that organization's budgeting, like how they come up with their budget. Do they have quarterly budgets, monthly budgets, yearly budgets? You're going to find out by asking questions like that. Now, it's also going to set up the next question, because let's say that once they tell you what the budget is, let's say that the budget is way lower than what your solution cost. So let's say if they're like, oh, we've got, a $150,000 budget, but all the problems they told you they had and where they want to be, that's a $250,000 solution, but yet their budget's only $150,000. So what do you do to flip that script to get them to focus on the end result rather than the price or cost? Because if you can't do that, you're dead. Like, you're just going to lose deals you could be making. Okay. So you're going to lean in and say, do you feel the budget you've been given is sufficient to solve X and Y and Z problems that you brought up? Now, notice my tone when I say this. If I say it in a curious tone, that's not going to make any sense. But if I say it in more of a skeptical or challenging tone, once again, this is towards the end of that conversation, it's going to trigger them to think deeper about why I'm asking that question. I mean, do you feel like the budget you've been given is sufficient to solve X and Y and Z problems you brought up? See, that's a challenging tone. Okay. It gets them to think that maybe the budget they've been allocated wouldn't actually solve these newfound problems that your questioning ability in the discussion has allowed them to see they have that they never knew they had before they started talking to you. Okay. Then I can also ask this type of question here. I'm going to show you some more questions. Actually, I'm going to give you more than 5 or 6. I'm going to give you like 9 or 10. I'm feeling like Santa Claus today. Can you tell me how the funding for this project would be determined? Can you tell me how the funding for this project was determined? See, it's another way about finding out their budgeting and decision-making process, okay? It just helps you find out who the other decision influencers are in that organization, okay? Now, let me give you some more questions here you can ask. Like I said, I'm being like Santa Claus here. Let's say that you find out that they're about to go to the board with your proposal before you get to meet the board with your proposal. Let's say you've met it's more enterprise selling here. You've met with the department head, you've met with you've met with other people, decision makers, and now they're going to go bring the proposal to the board. And then the next week you get to come in and present. See, I want to find out what obstacles would hold them back from getting the approval to solve the problem. Okay, this is more B2B here. I'm going to show you some B2C examples in a second. Okay, John, now this is towards the end of that conversation. Wouldn't be in the beginning. John, can I ask you something? Can I ask you something that might be important for you? Not important for me, important for you. See how I'm flipping that script. John, can I ask you something that might be important for you? Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Jeremy. What obstacles would you possibly encounter when trying to get financial approval to solve X and YZ problem? Like, what obstacles do you see that you might get to solve that for you guys? See, notice I'm not saying what obstacles would I have. I'm telling him what obstacles does he have. What obstacles would you possibly encounter when trying to get financial approval from the board to solve XYZ problem? Well, I don't know if Julie's going to be on board because of, oh, who's Julie? Because of what? Oh, maybe I need to talk with Julie too. See, it allows you to find out more of who is influencing the actual decision. See what I'm doing there? This is very basic stuff I'm showing you guys here, right? Compared to what our clients go through. Who else besides you would be involved in improving this budget to solve XYZ problem? Who else besides you would be involved in approving this budget? See, it allows you, once again, it's another way to see who else is influencing the decision. You don't want to ask cheesy questions like, who besides you would be the deciding who to go with, or who besides you, who are the decision makers here besides you? That question every single salesperson asks in B2B sales for 50 years. People most of the time will not open to that. Okay, but a roundabout ways, who else besides you would be involved in approving the budget to solve this? It's the same question, but I relanguage it to something they're not used to, which gets them to think deeper about the question I'm just asking. See what I'm doing there? Okay, how about this one? Here's another. I'm just being nice. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 more here. How will you get financial approval from the company to solve this issue you brought up? How will you get financial approval from the board to be able to solve X and YZ challenges you just told me? Now, you're not going to say challenges. You're going to say the actual challenges or problems they brought up. Okay? You have to make that specific. It can't sound generalized. You don't want to say words like solution, problem, challenge, issue. Those are generic, vague terms. You have to plug in the issue they told you. You have to plug in the challenge they told you. You have to plug in the problem they told you. You plug in your solution. That makes it more specific to their unique situation. And when the prospect feels that you understand their unique situation the most, guess who they buy from every time? The company and person who they feel understands their unique situation, period. Does not matter if your prices are 10, 15, 25% more than your competition. They'll always buy from you because they feel like you understand their unique situation the most. Okay, now let me give you a few more here and a couple of different B2C ways as well. Now, let me give you this example. This is for B2C and or B2B right here. Let's say that you get to the end of your sales process or even the first discovery call, and they say, yeah, we're also meeting with this company and that company, or they say, we're just kind of shopping around for the cheapest price, or, we're looking at several different vendors if you sell B2B. If you sell B2C, they'd probably say, we're looking at other companies that do the same thing you do. Now, what are you going to do? What are you going to do then? Are you going to argue with them? Well, who are you meeting with? Oh, well, they suck, and here's why you should go with us. Well, you'll get a few sales here and there, but you're going to lose most of them that you could be making. So what do you ask? Oh, yeah, that's not a problem. What are you hoping these other companies say to you? Well, I'm hoping to see what their prices are, what their products do. But now, depending on what they say there, what are you hoping they're going to tell you? Or what are you hoping they're going to say to you? See, why would I want to ask that question? Because I want to know the biggest thing that's on their mind. Is it price? Is it the end result? What is it? I don't know unless what are you hoping they're going to tell you? Well, I'm hoping they're going to tell me about this, or they're going to show me the prices about this, or whatever. Then I'm going to come in with this type of question. I put it here on StreamYard for you on that document. Okay, so let's suppose that you meet with, all these other companies, and let's say they all meet your criteria, like us, and they can solve the same problems like we can. And let's say that the pricing is even similar. How would you then decide who to go with? Whatever they say there, well, at that point, it's going to come down to this. Whatever they say there is what you're going to focus on. Let me repeat that question. Let's suppose that you meet with all these other companies, and let's say they all meet your criteria and can solve the same problems like you said we can. And let's say that the pricing is even somewhat similar. How would you then decide who to go with at that point? Well, at that point, Jeremy, it would come down to this. Whatever this is where you focus your time and energy, because that's going to be the tipping point to bring them over. And you know why? Because I can guarantee you that the other competing salespeople from their companies would never know how to even ask a question like that. So it gives you the competitive advantage. Okay, I'm going to give you a few more here and then we're going to get off. Okay. All right. Let's say, okay. Now, what do you do if they say, I'm going to give you this example for B2C or B2B. What do you do if they say in the beginning that cost or price is really important? You get on a sales call and they're like, oh yeah, I'm just looking at the prices because the cost is really important to us. We're on a strict budget. Now, I'm not going to bring that up right in the first part of the call because I haven't built any gap yet. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll go through all that for sure. We'll see what we can do for you possibly. Okay. So what we want to do there is towards the end of that conversation, we're going to bring that back up. Now, Sally, you had mentioned that the most important thing to you was cost, but can I ask how that compares to you actually getting the XYZ result and being able to solve ABC problem? Now, you had mentioned the most important thing to you was the cost, but can I ask how that compares to you actually getting results and being able to solve this problem, though? Now, you're going to plug in what the real problem is. You're going to plug in the end result they said they wanted. Does that make sense what you're doing? Like if you sold solar, now you'd mentioned the most important thing to you was cost. Can I ask how that compares to you actually locking in your rate and lowering your bill? See, I'm just plugging that in. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? Now, you had mentioned the most important thing was cost. Can I ask how that compares to the actual coverage you get and if it's going to be there when you pass away to protect sending the kids from having to sell the home? See, I'm getting them into results-based thinking over price or cost-based thinking, okay? Because what you do when you do that is you get them to think that, oh my gosh, the cheapest product or service doesn't necessarily mean it's going to solve my problem and get me the best result. That gets them into results-based thinking over price or cost-based thinking. Okay, I hope that helped everybody today. We will go live tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm still going to go live here from the lake house on my trip, on my vacation. I'll be here just for about one more week before I get back to our offices, our corporate headquarters in Scottsdale. I have my vibe board back for you guys to draw some stuff on there. Hopefully that helped you guys. Now, you want to start acquiring these skills so you can start, because what I showed you today was very basic. There's a lot more to that you're going to need to know, because if you ask one of those questions and they say this, well, what are you going to say next? What are you going to ask if they're like, oh no, I'm the only decision maker? What are you going to ask then? Because you know that's probably not true. See, there's so much more to this than what I can show you on a basic live or reel. You guys see we do 150 reels a month, and I'm still showing you less than 1/10 of 1% of the training our clients go through in our virtual training courses and group training with myself and our sales trainers. I don't hardly show you anything here. So if you want to start making your first 10 grand a month in commissions, let's say you want to start making your first 15 or 20 or 30 grand every single month with what you sell now. Or if you want to start making 50 or 60 grand every single month in your industry, because I can assure you, we are trained salespeople, tons of them that make that every single month now, and they are crushing you. Do you know why they're crushing you? It's not because their hair looks cool or they're really athletic or, they wear cool shirts or they got big muscles. Like none of that matters when you're talking to a prospect. Do you know what matters? The words you're saying the questions you're asking and how to use your tone that causes your prospects to open up and let their guard down. So it doesn't matter if you're 500 pounds, if you're skinny and weak, if you're tall or short, if you've got purple hair or blonde, if you've got 3 eyes instead of 2, if you have 3 arms instead of 2, if you've got 7 legs, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what you're saying and what you're asking and your tone you're using that's going to influence that prospect to do all the work, to pull you in, to sell themselves. Or you guys can keep doing all the work yourself, try to push, try to pressure, try to spend hours of overcoming objections, chase and follow up all the time to barely eke out a living. And the choice is yours. So if you want to acquire those skills, message me directly right now. If you're on Instagram, if you're in LinkedIn, or if you're on our Facebook group, Sales Revolution, or the Facebook business page, or my Facebook, message me directly right now. If you're on YouTube, you won't be able to message me on there. You'll have to join our Facebook group. Now, if you're on StreamYard, there is the Sales Revolution. You see the banner there. You can just join the salesrevolution.pro for free, and you can follow me on Instagram. There's my handle right there. It's at Jeremy Lee Minor. It's right there. Guys, somebody's asking me, do you have an IG page? I don't know who you are, but it's flashing right in front of you on that purple banner. It says IG at Jeremy Lee Minor. You can follow me there as well. Okay. All right. Make sure you guys join the Facebook Live tomorrow. Every Wednesday, we dissect the sales process and script of a new client from a completely new industry. So tomorrow, we're going to be talking to a gentleman who was doing decently. He was already making $10,000 to $15,000 a month in commissions about 8 months ago when he got into our Advanced Inner Circle program. Now he's making well over $50,000 a month in commissions. So he went from 10 to 15 a month to now he's making over $50,000 a month, and he's selling the same damn thing he was before. Do you know the only difference? NEPQ and what we trained in and what he's still learning. 5:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll have to be in the Facebook group to join that. Can I join the live tomorrow without signing up? You don't have to sign up for the live. You have to set your notifications on Facebook that when we go live in the Facebook group Sales Revolution, it notifies you. If you don't, we have 65,000 members in there. If you don't have your notifications on to notify you on your phone, you got a 5% chance it's going to let you know. But if you set your notifications on, every time I go live in the Facebook group Sales Revolution, if you have your notifications on, it will notify you on your phone. Okay. Jeremy, if you were to give an industry specific example for maybe financial service, life insurance, what would that be? Pete, that's all in our virtual training courses. We train literally tens of thousands of life insurance and financial service agents in NEPQ 3.0, tens of thousands, and 2.0 as well. So it's all there in our virtual training courses. Hopefully you're one of our clients because you would already know all that. They're all right there. Okay, everybody. IG, make sure you join the Facebook group, salesrevolution.pro. We'll have somebody drop it in there, salesrevolution.pro. If you want, we don't go live on IG on Wednesdays because I have to share my screen and talk with the client on StreamYard. So if you want to be on those lives, because I only go live on IG once a week, I go live in the Facebook group 3 to 4 times a week. So if you're on IG and want to be on more of those lives, join the Facebook group, salesrevolution.pro. If I could have somebody on my team drop the salesrevolution.pro link on IG, I would appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on the live. Stay out of